Hey guys, and welcome to the Bayern View. Hope you guys are all doing well. Before we actually even start this one, I'm not going to take too much of Justin's time. He's actually given me his time after doing a 12-hour shift, so big up to him. But generally speaking, I'm going to do this on every single fan cam. Heart goes out to all of the victims that from the terror attack today in Germany. I hope everyone is a-okay. Obviously the Bayern players did it in the end. Nuts. This world is so messed up at times. Obviously don't want to put a downer on it, but it does need to be said. So yeah. Anyway, smash the likes, hit the subscribe, and all that good stuff. This is your turn to speak, bro, as obviously an opposition fan. Go ahead, man. What do you think?
I'll sum it up in one word: disgraceful. From an RB Leipzig perspective, I said it on your your live stream watch along in the chats. When I had the chance at half time, we played like a 3-leaguer side basically. We just didn't cut it. It takes no discredit away from you guys. You played absolutely, brilliantly. Outplayed us all over the park. Over on my podcast, I put. I don't know if his name is Michael, I think it is, but Elise, he was the player that I put as player watch, even though Harry Kane was coming back. I just felt for the last month and a bit, or roughly a month, when Harry Kane was out, that he was one of your best players, assisting and scoring. And it was also the difference tonight as well. I mean, you had lots of good players, but he also assisted and caused our defence, which, I mean, a lot of your players caused problems for our defence, but he was always going to be a threat. And he proved that quite regularly. And I felt that we just weren't physical enough at the contest as well. We didn't get the ball in. There were times where we should have just, when you were dominating the game, we should have tried to, when we got the ball finally, we should have just started, try and take the sting out of it. I mean, it's easier said than done, because, Bayern are obviously a great side and they're going to be very persistent in trying to press to get the ball back. But then that's where we need to just have, play keep away footy a little bit, just, switch up the play, just take the sting out, try to control the game a little bit more, and then slowly get it onto our terms. I felt the midfielders didn't work hard enough as well going forward. Basically that all we did was long ball attack, basically kick those long balls up forward. And after that, the midfielders didn't come and support. I thought Arthur Vermeeren in midfield was a wrong choice from Marco Rosa. I felt next to Xavier Schlager, it should have actually been Kevin Campbell, who came on quite late. It was good to see David Raum come back, although he obviously didn't play much because he's coming back from an injury. Unfortunately for Benny Henrichs, it looks like he's probably going to be out for at least 4 to 6 months. I hope I'm wrong here, but it looked to me that it was an Achilles tendon rupture. So that means, because I know he couldn't walk off the field, he had to be taken off, stretch it off. Some people are saying it was his knee, and if it's his knee, it's even worse because it would be an ACL, which is just what Xavier Schlager's come back from, which means probably 6 to 9 months. And 4 to 6 months is best case scenario for a ACL rupture anyway. So yeah, there's other, if you want anything you want to ask me, go for it, man. So that's just my thoughts in a nutshell.
I'm muted. Obviously, you haven't been the best team in the Champions League. And then obviously you've had various defeats in the league as well. What do you make of this manager as a whole?
Look, Marco Rosa's, I wouldn't say he's like the best manager in the world, but he's not a bad manager. I think he needs to adapt more when he doesn't have certain players. There's certain things that I think he makes wrong decisions with, like his substitutions. Sometimes his starting 11, sometimes his formation, sometimes how he plays the game. But look, I like the guy, but it's starting to get, going forward, what is the prognosis of what RB Leipzig want? Like, do they want to challenge Bayern for titles? Do they want to, play Champions League football? Like, what is the minimum here? The minimum, if it's just top 4 every season, fine. Marco Rosa should be able to deliver that. And with any of our players in our squad, although there's a couple of players that I think that are questionable, that probably shouldn't be there, but with the squad that we have, top 4 is quite comfortable every year. But if you're trying to, win a domestic cup or go as far deep into the Champions League season, then I don't think Marco Rose is tactically adapt enough to be able to take the club forward with that, even without the best players at his disposal. So we've had 8 players injured and we've had to promote some youth. But to me, that's just a blanket excuse, So that's pretty much my thoughts in a nutshell there.
Yeah. No, I get you. Do you obviously you've spoken about injuries and you've spoken about certain players being out. Do you think you really missed Xavi Simons from this game?
Oh, absolutely. I said when he was injured originally on my podcast that we're going to struggle creatively, and we have. I actually still think Xavi Simons is, besides David Raum, they were the top 2 players that were our creative chances. And because we attacked down the left-hand side a lot, when David Raum got injured, we lose that. Okay. And then when Xavi Simons was injured, well, now we lose a lot of creative spark, a lot of creative ability from midfield and being able to link up play. You'll find that a lot of the time with our 2 strikers, with Sesko and Openda, Xavi Simons normally plays as like a number 10, not specifically a 10, but he falls back into just behind those players as a creative attacking midfielder, and then brings in extra defenders, makes the space, makes the plays, runs up defenses. We've been able to replicate that a little bit with Antonio Noussair. He's done a decent job in that time, but you're comparing apples and oranges here of 2 different caliber of players. Antonio Noussair is a great kid and he's only 19 years old and also a great player, and he's stepped up a little bit, but that's a lot to ask for of the type of caliber of player that Xavi Simons, and how I said originally before we managed to get him back on loan again this season, I think it was a very stupid decision to base and have the team around a loanee player that's not our actual player. Now, if we manage to get him long term, sure, those critics of mine are going to be justified, I guess. Like, you'd be, oh, don't worry about it. Now he's permanent. But what happens next season? We're going to have a massive hole in our team, and who are we going to have to replace? We can't just turn around and go out and spend, $60 odd million on a random player. I mean, even acquisition, can't even say that right. Xavi Simons long term is going to be difficult, if not impossible. So, we're going to be a better different side when he's back. But, what's going to happen if he goes down again? So.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. I feel like if you would have had that creativity, then maybe Openda could have done a little bit more than he already did. Obviously, I know your opinion on Openda. You put it obviously in the live chat and so on.
Yeah.
But who would? This is going to sound stupid because you lost 5-1. But I know you, and I've spoken to you before, off camera and on camera. You're not one of those fans where you're gonna beat around the bush. So, if you had to pick a man of the match, it's a dumb thing to ask you, but for your team, who do you think the best player was on your team? I know you lost, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, look, it's always hard with a losing side, but especially I wouldn't say humiliating defeat. Humiliating was the Wolfsburg game, but in a side and how we played tonight was not really much better from an RB perspective. But Benjamin Sesko would probably be the best player, I would say, because he not only was able to score, but he was also threatening. He never tired. He was always making runs. He was always doing as much as he possibly can. I also felt Xavier Schlager in midfield is pretty up there as well. He was working, his backside off basically all game. But there wasn't really many, good players that you could say that were even worthy of, being the best player, because in essence, they all played pretty poorly.
Yeah. No, again, like I said, I'm not, obviously, I'm not trying to make a fool out of you or anything like that.
No, that's right.
But asking that, because obviously it's from your perspective. Obviously I don't like your team, I don't like your players, so on and so forth. But as a whole, I don't see it like that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, there's that, people. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below on what Justin had to say. His link will be in the title as well as the description. Go over and subscribe. He's always doing his lives and his podcasts and so on. Unfortunately, we didn't link up. Time difference destroyed us.
Yeah. Right now it's 8:35 a.m., mate, and I finished work at 8 o'clock. So
yeah, and then it's 10 o'clock now here. So mad. absolute madness. And I know he needs to get to sleep, so I'm going to shut up.
That's
But yeah,
right.
smash the likes, hit the subscribe button, and until then, we'll get out of here. Mia Samia. Peace.